Hey guys, alright, so we are going to do part 3 here real quick, so I'm going to make myself real small. Again, if you are new, we are going through all the wheel flares options out there, and we're trying to build the most aerodynamic set of wheel flares possible for our Miata, and then at the end, we're going to actually build them. So let's go over the changes between part 2 and part 3. Real easy. We've added this flare, so see how we got kind of like this little flare thing going on right here that I'm pointing to, where the air is going to get kicked out. So we made the wheel flares longer to try to reduce drag, but we lost a lot of front downforce. So we're going to try to get that back with that little flare. More news on the back of the car. We have here, so we can get this little guy flipped over. Right here, we're going for, before we did the Sighn boards, now we're doing the DTM rear canards, or spats if you would, on the back of the tire, trying to get that results. Now we're going to jump over to Total Sim. Excuse me. And I'm going to look at the results of that change live with you guys. I have not seen these. It's going to be totally raw, I guess you say, raw. And move this thing back while it loads. I know the anticipations. Somebody should really edit this. Wonder if we could find someone to do that. Still loading the program. We'll have to find a way to edit this. There we go. Baseline. Alright, so now we just did our run 4. So let's see what's happened. So right here, yeah, let's just make this enormous. Alright, ready. Close this up. So run 4 is what we're looking at. This guy right here, that's our newest one. Drag went to 621. So actually we went back to our drag numbers from the first run. So we did pick up we picked up some drag, but you know, canards, especially on the back, are very draggy. So I'm wondering if the air's even hitting them. Like I would think this run would be the highest, but with that little wheel flare and the leading edge, we seem to have got some stuff going. We picked up our front downforce again. So our best was 609, and we went back to 604. In the second run, we dropped down a little bit. So we did pick up some front downforce there, probably about 50 pounds. So we were managed to get that back. Rear downforce, we seem to have lost a bunch on the rear. So we went the Sighn boards were making 852, and the rear canards are making 824. So which is actually worse than the rear downforce of the original wheel flares, of having nothing at all back there, just having the flare. Let's see. Yeah, and our balance is actually pretty good. So it shifted a bunch to the front. Let's compare these images here. Shift this back to 100. And we're going to do the wheel flares, and we're going to compare the images, compare results. No, compare images. I'm going to do all runs. And let's go ahead and let's do drag first. So that's CPX, and shift and question mark gives me the hotkeys. Select next slice, control right by one index. Select next images right. Okay. All right, got it. So let's go ahead and just look at CPX, which is our drag numbers. And I want to compare these to the... So actually we did pick up some... I'm just flipping through this thing here. Let's do x-ray plot of drag. X would be... Yep, X would be our... yeah, X is our drag numbers. So we're kind of just looking at this, trying to see where our drag is. Looks like the rear's it's not hitting the rear. So our drag x-ray plot. So we're just trying to see where the drag is on this thing. We got a lot in the front, but we did remove a bunch here and this side. Yeah, let's just go ahead and start comparing these guys. So, alt runs. So we're going to do between run 2 and run 4. Okay, so we're just going to flip back and forth here. So you see run 2 is where we made the most amount of downforce. And you can see here we really chilled out those hot spots on the drag on the front. So that hot spot was there. Second run, we got rid of them altogether, but we lost downforce. And then this one, it's starting to come back, but it's actually not that bad. We picked up a decent amount of thrust. So a decent amount of thrust there. This is the air that's pulling us forward into the air, which is, we want blues, we don't want reds. So yeah, kind of looking through here, trying to see where the drag is. Seems to be all in the back tire, but yeah, let's here check the back tires between the 2 runs. It kind of stays the same. I'm looking at the leading edge here. It stays the same between the 2. So that's kind of cool. Let's jump over to downforce. Let's Z. I like looking at the floors. Run 2 and run 4 are very much identical between with front downforce. Like, I don't even see the difference between them. There's a little bit of difference in the floor, but that's not going to be a thing. But it looks like the signboards are the winners as far as making downforce in the back. You see that? So that's with the canards, the signboards. Canards, signboards. Signboards were making, really just energizing that diffuser more than the canards were, or nothing. Actually, nothing at all did better than canards. Look at that. So it got smaller when we added the canards. So yeah, we want to avoid. We don't like the canards. The canards are not winners. Let's see here. I do want to see the flow around. I want to do a back flow. I want to see the flow around the canards, and you can kind of see it's not giving us the vortexes that we're looking for. Like, it's just giving us little edges here. As where the signboards, where is those? As the signboards are kind of are definitely changing the flow, and actually signboards are reducing the drag. So signboards, tell you what, signboards are winning. And if we haven't gone over what a signboard is, here, let me just give me a view of it. I'm kind of looking for it. So what a signboard is you'll see this thing right here. So that's just a flat plate that is sealed on the leading edge. So this seals your wheel well here. And then it's open on the bottom and open on the back. And the idea is that when the air sees those open areas, you know, it's flowing along, all of a sudden sees the open area on the bottom, and it just tries to get in there. So it twists, and then that creates vortices. So, yeah, signboards are winning. Signboards are winning pretty hard. So we're going to go back to the signboards. The front seems to be as best we can with this current setup. So we made them a little bit longer on the leading edge. Let's see if I can find a good image of that. So we like this one. So you see run 2, they're very small. You know, very, very short, but that gave us the most downforce. And so, you know, we run over here to the 4th run, and we made them longer, which reduced the drag, but we got our downforce back. So that's kind of what we really were looking for, is a little bit of hump right here. You can see in this image here, we added like that big flare I was talking about. So cool. So we're gonna go do more testing. Going forward, we're gonna test out a bigger signboard on these flares. Try to make it into 2 pieces, because that's how we're gonna have to build it. So basically, we'll have the vacuum. You know, we're gonna do this out of ABS plastic. We're gonna do this leading edge out of you know, 1 piece, and then we'll have a second piece in the back, and that second piece will be the signboard. The top piece will just be sealed and closed up, and then that'll work there. Yeah, And then, yeah, this guy's rock and roll. So we're going to keep doing that. I think the front's good. I think the front is going to be as good as it can be. There's not really much else we can... There's nothing else that this thing is telling me that the fronts need changing. Because we went big swings, and if we jump over CPC, you can see we went for big swings, and we got a lot of the front splitter. And I think adding just a wheel, a splitter end plate right here, that'll pick up this area. And yeah, front downforce is looking great. Can't really fault that. But yeah, I think out of this wheel flare combo, big Sighn bore in the back, curved edge in the front, and we got something to build. So stay tuned. I think we're ready to start building, and now we need to start making real parts. So yeah, follow along. Thanks, guys.